Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Juniversal Month. Ba 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 ba. And we are talking about the Fast and the Furious. Yes, finally, I've already recorded my next review because I wanted to do this one while I was at work because it's the only one I have left that I have on digital, I think. But I digest. Um, yeah, and this is a big one. I did not see this when it came out. Uh, I was over 13 at this point. 2001, I think it was 14, going on 15. Uh, I didn't see this. I think I explained this before, but I'm gonna say it again. I didn't see this until a friend of mine, my friend Tim. He had both of the movies on VHS so it was after 2006 because he had the first two on VHS and the other one on DVD. And then I got into it and I started getting DVDs. I'm gonna get DVDs too, so we got them all. I know I have all the Blu-rays, but yeah. And this has gone on to be one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 20 at least. I mean, it's in my top 10. This is in my top 10. Yeah, it's in my top 10, the original. Though I will say that up there is five. A lot of people say five is the best, and I have a hard time arguing with them about it. There's a lot of good things, and even seven is up there. But let's be honest, there's only one reason why seven is as good as it is, and unfortunately, a tragedy had to happen for it to be as good as it is. I'm just saying, because if that had not happened, if Paul Walker did not pass away, I do not think Furious 7 would be as well received as it was, because different things would have happened. I don't know. Yeah, we go all the way back to when Vin Diesel and I had the same haircut. Because, like, he still had some hair left, as I do. Though, I think, how old was he in 2001? He was born 1967, so he was 67. He was 4 and 71. We're going to go from that. So he's 4 and 71. So we go to 81, you'll be 14. 91, 24. So he was 34 here. All right. I guess that works. He's 58 right now. So yeah, he was 34 there in this movie. And then, of course, the late Paul Walker, who was younger than him, born 1973. So that would put him, let's see, in 1981, he would have been 8. So, he'd been 8. So we go to 91, 18. 2001, he was 28. Hope I'm doing that right. So, yeah. And a lot of people have described it as a rip-off of Point Break, and let me tell you this. Kinda. There are some differences, though there's a lot of things that are similar. But I will tell you, I found out just for the first time today, this is actually based on a 1998 Vibe magazine article, Racer X by Ken Lee. Thank you, Joe Blow, and it's on Wikipedia. Yeah. The Fast and Furious ended development in late 1998. Its concept inspired by Lee's 98 Vibe article about the illegal street racing scene of New York City at the time. So they brought in Gary Scott Thompson and Eric Berquist to write the script that year. And David Ayer of Suicide Squad fame would be brought on to help with some rewrites. Yeah. Paul Walker was the first to be cast as he worked on the Skulls with Rob Cohen, and so he was the first to be cast, and Diesel was cast in 1999. So yeah, they were attended actual street races to get into the yeah. Uh, so yeah, and that's going on to be one of my favorite movies of all the times. TV series. Success spawned 9 sequels, a spin-off film, a TV series. Was that the animated one on Netflix? I forget about that one. Several video games. Followed by 2 Fast and Furious in 2003. It took 3 years. 2 years. 2001. Yeah, okay. June 22nd, 2001. So let's talk about the movie then. All right. I always forget how this movie starts. Because I think it just starts with Brian driving in that parking lot and then going, shit! But no, actually, it starts with the hijacking. And I don't know why I always forget that. It actually starts with some dude putting stuff on, helping to put stuff on there. People putting stuff on the semi-truck. Some trucks, even some guy radios, hey, we got it going right there, you know. And then, then you see them hijack. I want to point out that during the scenes when you're not supposed to know who they are, they hijack completely covered from head to toe in black, even wearing helmets. But then at the end of the film, when they go to do it, they're just wearing their regular clothes, and only Vince wears the helmet. And it's like they were like, well, we know who they are now, so we don't need to hide them. But why would this be any differently? You know, the idea of how they do it. Why would they now decide, we don't need to wear those uniforms? In fact, at the point, before they go to leave, Dom is wearing a head-to-toe black. And when they get there, he's in his regular clothes. It's like, what happened? Was there reshoots? What happened? Did they change their mind? I don't know. And if you were reading this and hadn't seen the movie, it would be spoiled right away, because it says, after the whole thing, they steal the electronic goods and escape into the night along the Terminal Island Freeway. It says, meanwhile, LAPD officer Brian O'Connor is sent undercover as part of a joint LAPD FBI task force. That's a spoiler right there. By the way, this is a revisited, so I'm spoiling stuff right away. One thing I want to point out that's different from Point Break, one of the few things that are, one, the audience doesn't know that Brian is working with the cops until about 45 minutes into the film ish. You know that Johnny Utah is working with the cops right away in Point Break. They established that right away. Also, Brian's just a cop. He announces himself later as Officer Brian O'Connor. But Johnny Utah is quite frankly an FBI agent. Quite clearly is what I want to say. Quite clearly an FBI agent. And in the end, Brian lets Dom go off with his car, into the sunset to take off. Whereas, as some people point out, Johnny Utah lets Bodie go off to his death, which now I guess you could say, yeah, he did die, but if Patrick Swayze was still alive and they did a sequel to that, by the way, if they ever do a sequel to it, Connor Story needs to play Bodhi's son. Some way, somehow. I don't know how that math would add up, but hold on. How old is he? Is he old enough to have been born before 91? He was born in 2000. Shit. Well, that wouldn't work. Never mind. Maybe his nephew. Maybe Bodhi had a brother, his nephew. I don't know. Or maybe you could set it. No, then how are you gonna... compensate for Keanu Reeves' age. So maybe you could set it early, like set it in 2015. Then you could say he was born. I don't know. I'm just saying. Uh, but yeah. So then we get the Brian driving. I always wanted to know what the hell is he doing here? He's driving around and he goes, shit! Like, what is he? The only thing I could think of is he's trying to test out if he can make the 10, if the vehicle he's in can make the 10-second, the 10-second car or not. Only thing I can think of. And then I love the needle drops in this movie. I love the soundtrack. We get the first big needle drop. Is it deep enough? Take you there. Yes, as he goes through the. I thought it was a diner, but apparently it's also a grocery store. Because later he's like, "I know you don't make that money, but just doing tune-ups and selling groceries." So is it? They also have a garage, so it's like it's a garage, grocery store, deli thing. He gets the tuna, which was crappy yesterday, and it's crappy today. It'll be crappy tomorrow. The tuna no crust, which is a very good sandwich. Although I would add cheese. I don't think there is any cheese on this sandwich, but I would add cheese myself personally because it's me, and you know me. I like to add cheese to everything. So yes, and he flirts with Mia. And then, well, like his Dom's just instead of sitting there, back of his head, he gets out, get a drink, which he doesn't pay for, but it's his grocery store, so I guess it's okay. And his is in the can, but I'm gonna take a drink of this one. I was like, and everybody else shows up: Jesse, Letty, Vince, and Leon, who has not been seen since this movie. And apparently, Johnny Strong is the actor's name, I think, has said he hasn't even watched the sequels, which I'd be like to do, but I'm not in them. Why should I watch them, right? Though, I think I'd be likely to watch the movies I'm not in, as opposed to, if I'm an actor, if you're an actor, would you want to watch yourself in a movie? Wouldn't it be weird? You're just sitting there, you're like, you know? It'd be weird. It's like my sister just got married, and we took wedding photos. And my mom is showing me the pictures, and it doesn't register that that's me standing there. It's weird. It's a weird thing. It was like, also, I look really fat because I had to tuck in my shirt. You guys know I'm fat, but I look really fat. My belly popping up. Because you have to turn. And when you turn, my belly sticks out. It's like an entirely, So they get there. Talk to me, Jesse. Let me know what's going on. And Vince, he sees that Brian is there. He gets a little jealous because he has a thing for Letty, which I want to point out that they knew each other since the third grade. Because it's like, there was a time when you were a stranger. That was in the third grade. But, he's like, hey, why don't you go down to the Big Burger and get yourself a double with cheese for what, $2.99? I'm not gonna say the word he says. $2.99 is just for the burger, I'm assuming. Like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, and then of course we get another needle drop. Watch your back, watch your back, watch your back. And I like how I love this line. He's like, Dom, you gonna do something? He's like, what'd you put in that sandwich? I'm not joking, Dom. He gets out there. Wait, do it. You embarrassed me. You started. No, he didn't. Vince started it. No. You working for Harry? Yeah, just started. You were just fired. He doesn't get fired because of reasons we'll find out later. But, yeah. So, he goes. Dom threatens to fire Brian from his undercover job at Harry's, which he doesn't know is undercover, and ban him from the market. But Harry managed a reason to keep him employed at least. Brian's car apparently is a modified 1995 Mitsubishi Eclipse RS. Dom drives a Mazda RX-7. I'm only going to know from here. I'm not a car person. I know he has a Skyline, a Nissan Skyline in Too Fast and Furious. I believe that's the one. Don't quote me on this. I believe that's the one he drives at the beginning, the blue one that he's driving on the wrong side. He's sitting on the right when he should be on the left. I don't know why it's that way, but it is. I don't know. I don't know the other guy with them was Johnny's cousin. That's weird because he's not at the family meal later. Just Johnny is. I don't know. But so Brian is gonna wager his car. Pink slips. And he, Dom, and two other drivers, one of which is played by Ja Rule. And I'm not a fan of Ja Rule's rapping. If someone wanted to in this, because it's one of the most infamous songs, it's murder. But I just don't care for Ja Rule. I like rap music, don't get me wrong. But Ja Rule's is something else. I'm like, nah, no. I can't think of it, but there's one song I listen to. What's love got to do with it? What's love got to do? I think that's the one. I think that's what it is. Yeah. He uses too much NAS and his car malfunctions. I do like because the Ja Rule is like, hey, if win or lose, you get me, which is bullshit, by the way. But if you win, you get her. And then when he loses, he just yells out, Monica! And then he doesn't even get the girl. They're like, win or lose, you get me. And then she's like, no, get off me. What? You said win or lose. You didn't mean it. No. Oh, I do like when the girls are like fawning over Dom and Lenny comes up and goes, I smell skanks. Also, Letty was supposed to just be arm candy in this movie, apparently. But Michelle Rodriguez fought back and wanted more. She even wanted the scene where she punched someone. This is where she punches Lance later at the race wars. So, yeah. The cops show up. There's something I've always wondered. Did Brian call the cops at a certain point? Because it feels like he's not prepared for him either. By the way, the pizza guy, sorry, pizza guy, take your pizza someone else, do pepperoni someone else or something like that. That is the director, by the way, that Leon is telling to go away. Yeah. So Brian. So Dom hides his car and then walks. This never made sense to me. It was like he's walking. Like he hides the car and starts walking. He's not doing anything but walking. But the cop car drives by and turns around. Hey, Toretto! You got no proof he was street racing. He was just walking. That always bugged me. Why did they go after him? You have no proof right now that he was there. Right? I don't know. But Brian saves him. But unfortunately, they end up in Chinatown. Where Johnny Tran and his cousin Lance. Well, Johnny Tran owns which, by the way, they're just driving through. And he's like, told you not to come here anymore. They were driving through. They didn't stop. They weren't having a siesta. They weren't having lunch right on your territory. They were driving by. And so I never get why they come back and destroy his car. They talk about it. They talk it out. Everything's okay. And then they just come by and they shoot it. And then I love Dom's reaction of, Nas! And they have to jump as it explodes. But he's like, you still owe me a 10-second car. Because that car doesn't count. So he gives a decrepit, that's what this says here, decrepit MK4 Toyota Supra, which ends up being a convertible at one point. Yeah. What's that? I owed you a 10-second car. Oh, I also forgot another quote. What are you smiling about? Dude, I almost had you. Almost had me? You never had me. You never had your car. Yeah, I said a 10-second car, not a 10-minute car. But the engine is good enough, I guess, so they're going to work on it. And he and Mia go out for dinner. Well, I forgot to mention, they go back to the house. Because they do. They go back to Dom's house on foot. And they get there. And yeah, I'd be pissed too, because, like, the cops showed up, scattering everyone. And all my friends, supposedly, go back to my house and party. I do like Leon's response. When he's got a lovely lady sitting on his lap, Dom comes in. Hey, brother, we're just about to go looking for you, man. I'm like, no, you weren't. Letty's laying there playing a video game on the floor. And then Vince is like, what? He's playing the guitar is what he is. And then he's like, not very well either. I don't know if it's not very well or they just wanted it to stand out from the rest of the music playing in the background, so they made it louder. But it really stands out too much. Especially when I'm listening with earbuds. It's a bit annoying. Brian shows up. Brian's there with him. He's like, what's the Buster doing here? The Buster saved my back. Had my back. The Buster didn't turn tail. Run home. He's like, you can have any brew you want as long as it's a Corona. That's Vince's, so enjoy. I will point out that just taking your shirt and wiping off the top does not get rid of people's germs. It's an old thing. They've done it for years. You do this. I've done it. It does not get rid of people's germs. It's not as clean as you think it would. Well, that's my own germs. It's also cold on my belly. No, he does that. I never had a Corona. I'm not a big beer guy, but I do want to try Corona one of these times. And even that Belgian ale that Carota keeps talking about in 7 or whatever it is. You gotta try the Belgian ale, man. Yeah. So Dom, and this always gets me too. Dom gets there, and Lady's like, hey, come give me a massage. Oh yeah, she wants a massage, all right. And he's like, hey, enjoy it. So he's the host, and he's gonna go upstairs to bang his girlfriend. Well, everyone else just does that. And here we go. I love this too. Hey, Mia. He's like, no, Vince says it to, hey, would you wash my car for me when you're done? What? No, not you, me. I'm talking to him. He's like, hey, she's like, what's that fancy place? Cha. She turns to Brian. You can take me there. And then he gets me. Where's the popcorn? Get your own damn popcorn. Oh, I forgot about Hector. Played by the guy who plays a character named Hector in every movie. He's always known as Hector. Noel Guglielmi. Yes, I know his name. But he's Hector. And everything I see him. Hector. He's got a last name too, but he can't pronounce it. So, yeah. He comes into Harry's garage and buys, 4 66 turbos with NOS. I believe it's T66 turbos. Is that what it is? He says it later. It doesn't say it here, but he got 4 T66 turbos with NOS. And Brian goes to investigate one of Hector's garages, looking for the Civics that have been involved, the Honda Civics that have been involved in the heist. Brian is somehow discovered by Dom and Vince, Why they were there is never explained. They're just there. And if Vince rightfully points out he's a cop, we say, no. Brian Earl Spillner is his cover name. Yeah. He convinces them that he's researching the gang's vehicles in preparation for race wars. So he's like, hey, no, this is about race wars. Which, you can tell that Dom takes like a long, hard thought about it. He's a cop. He's a cop. Vince is yelling at him. So then they do, they go to Trans and they find a large number of electronic goods, which Brian reports to Spears. So, there is a scene in between this where he's revealed to be a cop. Sergeant Tanner, LAPD Sergeant Tanner, played by, what's his name? Ted Levine, who had also worked with Paul Walker in Joyride. Joyride was 2002, 2003, so would work with him. And Special Agent Bilkins, played by Tom Barry. He's the FBI. I always thought it was Tanner, but no, it's. I thought Bilkins, because he comes back in the next one. And so he goes out with Mia on a date to cha-cha-cha, and they talk about how everyone met each other. He's like, well, Dom and Vince grew up together. Well, Vince never grew up, is what she says. But they, school together. Letty always had a thing for Dom. But then she always had Dom's attention, but then she turned 16. And then Dom had her attention. What do you mean by that? Yeah. And then the other two Jesse and Leon just sort of showed up, which makes sense, because Leon's never come back. He just showed up. He was just there. Right? Everything's all about family. And with 9 more movies plus a spinoff, Leon has never come back. Right? Everybody keeps talking about bringing dead characters back. They brought Han back from the dead. They brought Giselle back from the dead. People are saying, bring back Jesse or Johnny Tran. I'm like, well, they're dead. And people point out Johnny Tran's not dead because he checks his pulse and says call 911. No, he's dead because Johnny Tran like this. After he crashes. No, he's dead. And while they can work around other deaths, Jesse is unequivocally dead. He gets shot the fuck up at the end of this movie. So if they try to make up some weird excuse, if Chan Lindbergh comes walking down the runway at some point in Fast X 2 or Fast 11, whatever they're going to call it, I swear to God, I will jump out the window. Because no, he gets shot the fuck up. He dies in Dom's arms. There's no way. Like, they can explain away Han with Mr. Nobody. They can even explain away Giselle with Mr. Nobody because we don't see their bodies, right? With Han, he's in his car. You see the explosion. Both versions of it. You don't see his dead body. You just say he's dead. With Giselle, she jumps out, she fires, and you assume she's dead. But you see Jesse get shot the fuck up. I'm sorry. He's dead. You cannot bring him back. But you know what they could have done, and I thought about it watching this time. Jesse's dad. He was in prison. So what if Jesse's dad gets out, looking for his son, finding out he's dead, everything leads to Toretto. He could be on a revenge mission for Toretto. That's something you could do, right? Jesse's father. No. I also want to point out that Dom gives his backstory here, and I feel like it's different when we finally get to see it in F9, where it's like, oh, well, first of all, he now has a brother in the situation, but now he's like, because he outright blames in this version, he says it's the Linder guy, right? That did it, and that's why he beat him with it. But in that one, he beats the guy, but also he blames his brother. Or maybe, I think he finds out after he beat the guy senseless, right? That's his brother. But he doesn't bring up his brother in this one. He just says, oh no, I beat the guy responsible. His brother didn't exist at this point. So, yeah. Or their brother, I should say. Anyway. So Bilkins then informs Brian that the truck drivers have begun arming themselves to kill the hijackers and notify me as 36 hours because we have a scene, we have a montage where Johnny Tran is arrested in front of his family, and I thought his dad goes up and smacks him across the face. And like I said, Lance is his cousin. Why isn't he at the dinner, right? No, he's somewhere else. He tries to run away and he gets like almost clotheslined by the cop. But that's not the last time he would be knocked the fuck out by someone. But and they're informed that actually all the stuff they had in the garage was legally purchased. So why was it just sitting in a garage? To me, it just says it's there because the writing said it was there so that they could point it out and say maybe they stole it. But there's no reason for it to be sitting in the garage otherwise. Right? Yeah. But, yeah, it's 36 hours to find and I think it's dumb all along, which it is very forced. Like the whole thing. Oh no, it's these people, and then, no, it has to be these people. Much like Point Break, but it's very much. Why are there the red herrings if you're just gonna? Why do the Johnny Tran, if it's just gonna end up being Dom and them anyway? It's a little like, what's the point? Because you got to get this runtime to almost 2 hours, so I guess. So they go to have their shrimp. I got the shrimp. They have the shrimp. They're talking about it, and this is where he's like, "This ain't enough, man. I need money. I might need to do a side job like you, like me. What are you talking about?" He goes, "Come on. You think? I believe for 1 second that you're making all this money from oh, I said it earlier, from doing tune-ups and selling groceries." And he's like, "Okay, let's." And then this confused me watching it this time. Okay, let's see how you do at Race Wars. And I'll think about adding you. And I'm like, do we even see Brian Race Wars? No. They go to Race War. We see 2 races. We see Letty versus some dude with dreadlocks, which Letty wins. By the way, she's like, too large to race me. And she just pulls out, I'm like, how do you know that's $2,000? And he's like, I'm like, wait. Or he just, yeah, I got it. I'm like, wait, he just has $2,000 rolled up for whatever. Whatever. He loses anyway. And then Jesse is putting his, let's say, racing Tran for slips. And Brian knows what Tran's got underneath that hood. He's like, no, you don't do it. But she's got like more than, $600 underneath that hood? $6,000? 600, right? But Jesse loses. Is MK3 Volkswagen Jetta, and Tran's driving a Honda Civic 2000. Yeah. He takes off, which you would assume would leave it open for Brian to take the 4th place, right? On the hijacking. But no. It goes to the hijacking. Well, Tran, first of all, goes off, accuses Dom of being a narc, which pisses Dom off because I don't narc to nobody. Beats the shit out of him. Everyone's just kind of fighting. And I like how Lance is like, oh, I gotta help my cousin. And then Letty just punches the shit out of him. Second time he's got knocked the fuck out in this movie. You should just stay there and watch, dude, because you're no good. No. And he sees Dom and Mia arguing. And like I said, Dom is in full black all the way head to toe, except for his head. So neck to toe. And then in the very next scene, he's in his regular clothes. And I'm like, What happened there? Right? So then Brian confesses that he is a cop and that they need to do something because the people are the drivers are arming themselves now. So yep. And I like how she kind of looks at him when he asks for the number to track him, right? And so they attempt to hijack the truck. And like I said, the two other times we see the hijackings, it's either just the cars or they're all covered head to toe. Here, they're just wearing their regular street clothes, and Vince puts on a helmet for like 5 minutes, or if even, and then takes it off when things go bad. He gets shot at and then tries to get off the hook thing, and he gets his arm wrapped around his arm. His arm wrapped around it. That's physically impossible. It wrapped around his arm, so he's stuck. And then you got Dom trying to unhook him while the dude just keeps shooting at him. And then Letty's trying to run interference, and she gets shot to shit. She flips over off down the hill, which causes Dom to yell at Leon to go check her out. She's for worse for wear, but she's fine. Then Brian catches up. Dom's car's kind of out of commission. So Brian catches up, saves Vince, and then has to reveal his identity to Dom. This is Officer Brian O'Connor. We need medevac. And the look on Dom's face. No words. Just pure anger on his face. He's just pissed. He's pissed and they're forced to go. And then you got this moment where Mia is conflicted, but she goes with Dom. So that medevac shows up. They take Vince away. And he gets back. And this is where it gets kind of... I think in the writing, they're like, well, we have to tell him what happened to Jesse. And I'm like, but if you just write Leon off as he and Letty took off, and they're not needed to have their stories wrapped around, why does Jesse need to have it wrapped around? So the trans can show up? They could still show up. Because Jesse has taken off. He's in the wind. So who are they going to take it out on? Dom. Just as Dom's freaking out, they're arguing back and forth about he's a cop. And I didn't call the cops, I'm going to take you in myself. And they're arguing. Then Tran and them, the trans. That's Tran and Lance come up and start shooting. Then the chase happens. You don't need Jesse, right? Save Jesse for a sequel. But no, Jesse shows up. Dom, I don't know what I did, man. Jesse, what are you thinking? And then they just come up, shoot the shit out of him. He's dead. He's dead! Okay? And then Brian goes after him because he's a cop, of course, with Dom following him later in the Dodge Charger. Yes. I knew that's what it was. The Charger. The Charger. And, yeah. Oh, I just realized that. We'll get to it. So they're gonna have Lance come back for revenge. He's still alive. Because Dom knocks him down a hill, he's still alive. But it's Tran that gets smooshed into the corner, or the sidewalk thing, and he's dead. And then Dom shows up. And they get to this thing, he's like that. You see that? The railroad tracks, they're exactly a quarter mile away from here. I used to drag when I was younger. When the light goes green, I'm going for it. Because we got the quote earlier, I live my life a quarter mile at a time. So he's doing that. And I just realized, while getting ready to talk about it, that this is the wave. This is the wave that Bodie wants to surf in Point Break. Because one of the points of contention, I was going to say there is no big wave at the end. But I thought, this is the wave. Because, he gets hit by the train, but he's perfectly fine. Just but a scratch. And if it happened in one of the newer sequels, there would be no blood on him at all. And he wouldn't be going, He'd be just fine. He'd get out. The dude, well, I guess he wasn't perfect. He wasn't exactly fine. Because that he had to tell him the truth, or whatever. He gets hit by the train. And then, Brian gives him his car. You know what you're doing? Just take it. And he's left to the sirens going up. And he's left to stand there to wait for the cops. And I thought about this watching this time. I'm like, what if they picked up the sequel right after this, with them showing up and having to explain? Right? But they don't. And number one reason why this cannot be considered a ripoff of Point Break. This actually went somewhere and got sequels. Right? Point Break never got any sequels. It got a shitty ass remake. But, this is sort of a remake of, call it a remake of Point Break, unofficially, with cars instead of surfing or jumping out of airplanes. There's also no scene where they do something else, race wars maybe, but he doesn't, I don't know. But, what else can I say? But this goes to the moon. To the moon. Yes. Despite my minor issues, nitpicking and whatnot. Fantastic film. I love it so much. So what are your thoughts on the Fast and the Furious? Let me know how much you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.